prize money totals based off of the way teams are positioned right now. Kind of, if you will, if the teams finish in this position, this is how it's all going to play out. But basically, as things stand right now, Unicorn still in first place to win the entire event. Fury up into second place. As you sort of prefaced, Jordan, they need to actually win this week 3. So they're actually second here for week 3, but also second overall now based off the current standings. Most importantly, the big one is MS Chonburi.
Yeah.
If MS Chonburi win this event and attack all around don't get a whole lot more money, generally a more sort of normal ArkAngel game. For Fury, 54 kills does get them up into second place now, and a really good distribution of their kills as well. Ykikamucow has had an amazing event. Really, as a team, they've all had standout players. Simon T, though, with the early opening kill. That's going to be Shin V of Easy Esports eliminated. That's one of the teams that don't have a win here. And honestly, if I was a betting man, which I'm not really, Jordan, but this would probably be the time where I'd say surely a team is going to get a second win here.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. 10 out of 16 having already done it. You do the maths. There's a higher likelihood that someone that's already gotten a win will pick up a second.
And the best thing about it,
sorry
to cut you off there, Jordan. The best thing about it, right, is you guarantee yourself $20,000 if you win this game.
It's top 2 if you get the second chicken dinner. It's obviously a big talking point, but what I think is also important to touch on is like BN United getting that little cheeky kill onto one of the Easy Esports players is also a fairly significant factor. They're sitting on 33 kills at the moment, and they're only 2 kills behind Game Home, who would be in 7th place. That would be another little step up for BN United, and they're only 5 kills behind Cerberus, who's in 6th. So they have the opportunity to really jump the gun a little bit just by virtue of the kills. It might not even necessarily have to come from the chicken dinners. I'll hold that thought for the moment because tNial is being pushed and he is eliminated as well by Eagle365. One of the teams that doesn't actually have a chicken dinner on the board. But yeah, what I think is really important to kind of note of is if BN United don't get a win, but if they have a pop-off game and a lot of kills, which, I mean, they're on offer at the moment. DANANG crossing the river. Oh, YungB has been taken down. Bad news for BN United. They have to trade these ones out effectively, and they are doing so. Zest and GodAce stabilize the ship. It's a hugely important fight right now for BN United to ensure that they don't lose a player.
Nade cooked from Zest. He just goes for the open window. I thought for a second maybe Flash would walk into it, and almost did for the most part, down to half health. DANANG just down to 2 players, and unfortunately for the night where the night and the week where everyone's getting wins, still DANANG just can't find chicken dinners. They are so elusive for this team. It's kind of scary that yet another PCS event goes by, Jordan, under this format, and yet again they just don't find the wins. Venotica goes down to Zest, and BN United have found a way to push through this fight. Honestly, it's been pretty easy for BN United.
I thought YungB might be up the creek without a paddle, but that second knock, or rather that third kill, I suppose, for BN United is what gave them the opportunity. Oh, Flash is not going to be happy with this. He can't get past. The Darcia's there. The grenade is in. He's dead. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Flash. The Darcia just absolutely ruining him. But BN United have done well to get through that fight without dropping YungB. There was a moment there where I thought they wouldn't be able to get him back up, but they did manage to find the kills that they needed to stabilize the situation, and now they've got 5 on the board. So already, they jump back up into 7th place overall, and they're starting to get closer to Cerberus's kill number, closer to attack all arounds, and they're starting to really push the issue. And that extra couple of $1,000 from 8th to 7th to 6th to 5th could be a massive difference maker for BN United.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, a lot to still play out, though, and remembering the fact that, you know, whoever...
Long way to rotate in when this circle does eventually pop. It's been a relatively passive early game, with the exception being, obviously, that engagement for DANANG and BN United that completely ruined DANANG's game. 10 seconds, though, and this is where things start to get a little bit spicy. Do we really get a hard shift toward the north, where all the teams are going to have to cross the Rozhok River? That would be pretty crazy indeed. And that's about as good as it's going to get. Oh, hard north over the Rozhok River. There's a 50-50 chance as to which way this one is going to go. And look at all those teams down to the south that are now starting to think, oh dear.
Yeah, and this is sort of actually bang on what I was saying for a central circle on ArkAngel, that it can still kind of, you know, pop open a bit of a wacky kind of position later in the mid portion of the game. Around that Rozhok River is usually the case. And so now it does create this dynamic here for phase 2. North or south? You got to pick a side. You're going to have some teams that, of course, try and have a toe on both the north and the south side, and that's only viable for a very small handful of teams. So you generally now, like, and this is like as 50-50 really as it is, Jordan. Sometimes you see this kind of circle and it's like 60-40, and say, if, you know, the top side's maybe 60, you just go top side. You put your, you know, your cards where the odds are, really. But this is 50%. This is an absolute 50%. Maybe even south side's the slightly favored one.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, you know, touching on that point you were talking about a little bit before, you have teams that are going to kind of split their forces, and that's what BN United has done. They've taken that garage position that they fought day trade at right off across the bridge near Watertown, and they've also sent a couple of players up over the northern side of the map. So they're a team that doesn't really care which way it goes. They're going to have the rotation either way, and they're going to be happy with that. Ykikamucow on the rotate past the colony. Gets out of there scot-free for now. Fury really sending it now. They're not the team that normally, you know, likes to rotate too quickly. They do like to play the edges. They oftentimes find themselves in engagements outside of the zone. But in this instance, it looks like they do want to get into the zone and lock down a position so that they can figure out what's going on, figure out if they can, you know, move to a different position. They can get some information on some compounds around them, do what they need to do. Because this is just madness at this point in time. This is another crazy zone that's really thrown a spanner in the works for all teams. And knowledge is power at this point. So everyone wants to gain as much information as possible as to where all of their opponents are, because they know that the next circle shift that eventually comes through is either going to make or break their game.
Yep. Minute and 12 seconds until phase 3 as teams start to dictate which side they want to go. We've got a handful up to the north, a handful down to the south, and you know, phase 3 doesn't necessarily have to go north or south, and a lot of the times it actually doesn't. A lot of times it just stays rather central onto the Roshok River. AAP around this ruins area, which is not really too heavily contested. They can kind of just chill out for the time being. The major part of this, though, is always having a way to get to the north side and a way to get to the south side.
Situation they found themselves in. If they got lucky, that was great. If not, they would have been prepared to rotate down to the south anyway. Eagle 365 and Sharper Esports in the process of doing so. That's a very nice spray from Belmoth. And Seiryu has crashed his bike. So Seiryu tRycK rather has crashed his bike. Chibiritt has been knocked out of the vehicle. So it's all a bit crazy at the moment as teams try to rotate their way down off the northern side of the island. Fury have just crashed toward the center. They're just playing that Roshok Hill, the dip underneath Roshok Hill. Not a bad place to be, but if teams do eventually get on top of the hill, they'll be in trouble. Colony, 36 Cartel, still with some split forces. 36 Cartel in particular still have 2 on the northern side of the river, starting to make their way across, swimming at the moment, and BN United eventually will return their forces to the position that they started in, but this is not looking too good for 36 Cartel at all. No. Momonjii, big spam away, and has the Rosa in hand now as well. sSuspekT, not long for this world. The rest of 36C might get away okay. Molu looks like he's been caught out by Killer as well, and unfortunately, it's not a good day at the office for 36C, though Molu might get picked back up.
Yeah, should be able to from this position now. Smoke plus the fence line as well. Cerberus, late rotator, of course, and responding to this phase 3 circle, now make their way over towards south of Ruins, close by to ArkAngel Predator. 2 teams that, of course, have already found chicken dinners here this week. Both really looking to find a second. Colony. So far, the second lowest amount of kills. Only above 36 Cartel for the Colony. And in 10th position. They have a win, but not in the money placing.
Cerberus and ArkAngel Predator are towing the line against one another just outside of Ruins. Both teams do kind of have to make a bit of a move to get inside of the zone comfortably. And it looks like it'll be Cerberus that goes first. They're not interested in taking the fight anymore. They just rotate off inside of the vehicles. They're heading in the direction of attack all around, though. Look on the minimap here. You can see shots headed in the direction of Cerberus. But they seem to be okay. They've made it to the defilades just inside of that field, so they'll be all right for now. Circle shift should come back down from the north and head towards the south. And it does indeed.
This also, for those who maybe looked at that Fury push that they did a little while ago, this is a pretty easy circle to actually predict for these players at this level, to understand that obviously the water has to push away from it. Where can it feasibly go? When you actually take into account Watertown itself, right? Like, this is basically the only place this circle could have gone. And for Fury, they had nowhere else that they could realistically go. So you play off of the Roshok Hill, just below it, use those crevices and use those defilades, and really well educated guess for this circle position. For UMP, interesting position here. They've got 2 over at Skull, and they've got 2 at the compounds north of Pachinki. I do wonder if they're going to group up, maybe play 4 out of Skull.
I love that little crossing where you can just go for a little bit of a dip on your way past, and you still get to retain your vehicle. Not many places in the map that let you do that.
Oh, Clee.
It's a good one. Not the grenade, though. Not a good grenade from Clee, but it is only going to cost him 20 of his HP. He's still kind of keeping an eye on things and looking to throw a couple more. MSC have gotten across the river, but they haven't really gotten out of the troubled waters just yet. Sharper Esports right above them on top of the cliff are going to be starting to rain down hellfire upon them. Grenades headed in the direction of Skeet, goes a little bit too far. It'll be difficult to land a good grenade here from MSC.
Oh, no.
Holding that thought for the moment, though, because this is O's on O's action. Fludd taken down, nearly run over. The car goes over the top of him. Ykikamucow on the floor, desperately needs some help, but he's not going to get it. Ronon is too far away. Inside is too far away. The buggy heading in the direction of 36 Cartel will be enough to save the position for Fury, but it is not enough to save Fludd and Ykikamucow. 36 Cartel are now the greatest enemy of ANZ. PUBG. At this point in time, they have taken out a couple of very important Fury players.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, down to just 2 players now for Fury, so unlikely to probably see them go back-to-back. The carnage, though, continues to ensue. Attack all around, just get absolutely destroyed by Cerberus. And suddenly this has turned into a bit of a bloodbath here for Phase 4. 45 seconds until Phase 5. And so you would expect this to continue for the time being. MS Chonburi also getting lit up. Of course, remember, they need to basically win. It definitely helps that attack all around does go out nice and early. More kills would be ideal, but they've already got 59. If they can find a win, it could actually secure PGC, but Jarman goes down. Balmoth, Sharper Esports, of course, a team that hasn't found a win yet. They need to somehow find maybe 2 in a row if they are to still make PGC. There's so many storylines and so many possibilities up for grabs. 10 seconds until Phase 5. Where does this circle shift?
The $1 million question. Maybe not quite $1 million question, but maybe the $20,000 question, Xenox. It's a fair bit of money involved in it. Easy Esports only have the 3 players alive, but they've got a decent circle shift for themselves. ArkAngel Predator also looking pretty good. BN United won't be disappointed. MSC have just got the 1 player left, and so they're not really going to be doing too much unless they take out their greatest competitor in Fury. It's Ronon inside of the US that gets dropped, and now Inside has to try and save the day. He's got no idea where that opponent is. He's going to chance the res. I think at this point you kind of have to. Oh, that was almost a very good grenade. But I think you have to do this, right? You're going to have to have your second player up. You can't make it happen with 1. So I kind of respect this decision from Inside. It's still winnable, potentially, if you get lucky and you have 2. I don't think it's winnable with just 1. So chances are that could be a pretty big res. That is the end of Julio, so that's going to be a weight off the shoulders of Fury. At least they know that he's not going to push them over the hill anymore, but they might have to worry about Sharper.
DANANG gone down. Esquiluzio though with a big nade. We'll finish off Kalbs. Nice little 180 though from Alec. Does get that knocked down, pushes in, gets the flush as well for the colony, but damage done still. 2 nice kills for Alec and made in Thailand. Unfortunately now just down to 2 players. And their chances of being able to find a second win suddenly also crumble. Only Duckmans and Jacob. 12 teams, 35 alive at the 20-minute mark here. And these teams over towards Roshok and the Roshok Hill area need to really get a move on. Ronon and Inside, the pressure mounting. How that they are even staying alive here is ridiculous. Such an amazing job to be able to withstand.
Well, what you got to do right now if you're Ronon is really just try to eke out 1 or 2 more kills, because that could be a massive difference maker. If it's not MSC, obviously they're out of the picture right now. Theory can still overtake them and then maybe hope that someone like Seiryu Esports can pull off an unlikely win. Or maybe Unicorn Phoenix, to be fair. I guess they're probably hoping that Unicorn Phoenix doesn't get the win because they're still in the whole discussion for the win overall. Ronon, I mean, he's just copping grenade after grenade after grenade. He's giving as good as he's getting, but the position that he's in is just horrible. 13 HP left. He must be running out of meds at this point as well.
He is fighting an unwinnable war, but he just continues to fight and says a lot about the character of that man. He will not give up. Jacob, easy kill there onto Momonjii. Literally just gatekeeping the rest of the colony in the blue. Although it's Zest who actually ended up finding the kill onto Momonjii, so no point, well, no kill on the side of Made in Thailand there. And they haven't been able to flush out Alec yet, holding this angle. Shoots through the little bush. Can he find the second? Made in Thailand, it's only Duckman's left in a 1 versus 1. Duckman's can win it, just barely scrapes by. Very low on health, but he does wipe out the colony.
ArkAngel Predator certainly having some problems against Game Home now as well. CJ does drop. Mad Dog is looking for the flush. He doesn't actually opt to go for it. They're just going to continue the breach in here. God, New falls off. He was trying to look through the window. He fell off. Now he's going to get behind his opponents, creep through that smoke. Game Home in a pretty rough position right now, hoping for a massive clutch from Godnewt. If nothing else, he's at least going to take AljnBOTz down with him. Now that is another player dropped for ArkAngel Predator. Glorious is still crawling around as well, so he's getting a bit of information here for Godnewt. Looking through the door. Sees Mad Dog. That'll be finished off in the end.
Very difficult to get a gauge as to which teams are sort of pulling ahead here, but one thing to keep an eye on in terms of the metrics is there's only 3 teams that have 4 alive. Cerberus, BN United, and Unicorn Phoenix. And Unicorn Phoenix probably haven't seen too much of the action thus far, at least not a hell of a lot. As we actually pan over to them, they should be able to finish off Jacob and Duckman's being the duo for Made in Thailand. 3 kills for Unicorn, so yeah, okay. They've actually had a little tiny bit of action. Doesn't quite give us the info in terms of, you know, how much utility they've used. Hungvo Ditch was always going to find that kill. Unfortunately for Duckman's, had no idea. Jacob, his position is known as well. He's not getting out of here alive. Can Unicorn Phoenix be our 11th team to find a win? Of course, for UNP, they need some points here if they're going to confirm top spot. There's 70% of the voters for Pick'ems, Jordan.
If UNP gets the win here, they're going to make it into the top 3. So unless Cerberus gets a bunch of kills
I'm pretty sure one
out.
win, I would almost say one win from here probably makes UNP the winners.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They might be fighting for top spot in PCS 5 APAC in this game, and they're in a very good spot to do it from. 4 players alive for them, 4 for BN, 4 for Cerberus, but Unicorn Phoenix have a relatively quiet side of the map. If they can clear out Fury, if they can walk up the hill on top of Sharper as well, they should have a pretty good time of finishing them off as well. Van's just going to send it, and Ronon is just doing whatever he can to try and survive inside of that smoke. He eventually falls to Unicorn Phoenix, and I wonder if that is a metaphor of what is to come for the tournament as a whole. Fury falling to Unicorn Phoenix. Is it yet another second place finish overall for
United.
Fury?
They've just pushed over from the north side, and they've got over freely, all 4 of them intact now onto Sharper Esports. They've actually now got a decent position in the side. Well, never mind. I was going to say decent position inside of the zone, but Phase 7 shifts away from them. Cerberus, maybe they could actually be the ones to have a good spot. Zesto with the double, 10 kills for BAO United. Pushing forward the team from Vietnam. And finding these kills has seen them leapfrog up the standings quite significantly as well, Jordan. You know, 10 kills now for BAO United. They only had 32 coming into this game. That means they were in 8th place. Now they're up into 6th place. That alone is already going to be some extra prize money for a team that already has a significant amount.
You see all those storylines starting to come together for BN United and for Unicorn Phoenix, these 2 teams that are battling for a top spot. Hungvo Ditch runs over Y8 and kills Klee as well. What on earth are we watching right now?
But is it going to come down to BN United and UNP battling it out?
I think it might.
If BN United win this game, I'm pretty certain that they will be occupying top spot overall in terms of prize money, because it would be their second win. They go to that #1 slot. That's 29,000. Yeah, like they would be in top spot. Obviously for UMP, not the end of the world, because they would still get to go through as the best team from Vietnam. But for the Pick'em voters, maybe less. They won't be as happy.
No, certainly not. 8 kills in this game for UMP, though. It feels like the return to form that we saw in weeks 1 and 2. They've been a little bit off here in week 3. They haven't been able to find a chicken dinner. They've been fragging well. This might be the game that they've been looking for. Cerberus also still have 4 alive. So they're a team that is well within their rights to find a win here as well. It's taken them a long time to get that first one in PCS 5, but what if they find 2 in the same week and start to throw another spanner in the works? If it's BN United or if it's Unicorn Phoenix, at this point I think we know what's going to happen. But if Cerberus gets a win, a second win, what does that do to the overall standings of the tournament? Who knows?
Yeah, probably doesn't do a whole lot, unfortunately, since Cerberus are basically competing with Unicorn and BN United, who are already exceptionally above them. So, yeah, for Cerberus, it basically just doesn't really do much.
I mean, they'd get a lot more money out of the week.
Well, they would, yeah, they would be getting a bit more money, yeah.
Unicorn Phoenix have a nice couple of loot boxes there to pick up some extra pieces of utility from. Cerberus down on the southern side of the map. Won't be too pleased to see that circle shift move away from them, but I mean, it's not the worst of shifts, to be honest. There's some ground that they can cover. There's some defilators that they can play with. It does help out BN United, though, meaning that they don't actually have to move. Unicorn Phoenix will have to come out of their cover, though. And you've got to remember, ArkAngel Predator and Game Home still have a player in this discussion as well. There's a little bit of, haymaking to be done by those 2 players if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and at some point, though, UMP and BN United are going to have a bit of a tango here. Just a matter of who's going to come out on the other side. Big ramifications for both teams here. Unicorn Phoenix yet to find a win, not in any money at all here for week 3, which is leaving ajar an opportunity that they may not actually end up win this event. Big nade. Kind of splits up BN United, but doesn't find what they're looking for. And hello, 2 down for UMP. Chu and DatBlue, the 2 frontline players as well for Unicorn Phoenix, have been eliminated. It's only Van and Hungfo ditch, and suddenly their 4-man turns into a 2-man. The nades go out. BaO United, they smell blood in the water here, and they want to flush them out of this game. Van is knocked down. There's only 1 remaining for Unicorn Phoenix, no more. BaO United are charging towards top spot overall. They wipe out their enemies, and suddenly we are down to 3 teams remaining, one of which is going to find their second win and will be in top spot going into our final game after this.
I can tell you who it's not going to be. ArkAngel Predator. Mad Dog is just hanging on for dear life. He looks to take a second place here, maybe pick up another kill or 2. I mean, kill points are so impactful. 45 kills for all 3 of these teams remaining. One of them, of course, is going to get a chicken dinner on the board, and that's going to make it irrelevant. But for ArkAngel Predator, BN United, and Cerberus, 1 or 2 extra kills could be the difference between 5th place and 3rd.
I gotta say, I'm absolutely just looking at chat right now, and everyone's just gone from go UMP to now go Cerberus. No one wants BaO United to win because of the pick'ems. If BaO United win this fight, if they win this round, they will be in top spot. I think not only for week 3, but also the whole standings as a whole for PCS 5 APAC.
Cerberus are the people's champion at this point.
Cerberus still up for everyone's pick'ems.
Cerberus has been given the weight of the entire community on their shoulders. And maybe Mad Dog can make a difference here as well. He is a little bit closer to BN United than he is for Cerberus. So he may still be able to cause a bit of a ruckus. He's got some smokes to hide behind. Both teams will be aware roughly of his position. Zest with the orb is a scary prospect, but he doesn't land the shot. And Cerberus continue to stay behind the smokes for now, though they are starting to creep forward. BN United is the team that arguably has better positioning. Mad Dog is taken out of the equation, and it is now a straight-up 4-on-4.
Cerberus, if they win this, they will keep Unicorn in top spot with 1 game to go. If BN United win this, they will be in top spot with 1 game to go. And I'm referencing the prize money standings overall. But it's Zest with that Orm who opens it up. Headshot onto him, Max. Now it's 4 versus 3. Youngby, though, knocked down by Haisaki. The Starman for Cerberus. What a flank, though, from Gade. Zest as well takes out said Starman. Only Fap remains. Gets one onto Simon, though. At least now makes it a 1 versus 2. Somewhat winnable. Zest inside of the smoke, but Fap's position is known. Didn't quite catch the peak of Zest when he was looking on the left side of the smoke. It's got